Hello and welcome to Binge Watch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the editor-in-chief of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwen, writer on TV and Satellite Week, TV Times and What's on TV magazines. And today we are looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 17th of April 2026, including the return of Netflix feud drama Beef, with a new story and cast including Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan, and the hunt for Paul McCartney's Beatles Höfner bass in a documentary on BBC iPlayer.
And we'll also be checking out Channel 5 French exchange drama Missed Call, starring Joanna Scanlon, Rupert Graves and Robert Lindsay, and Elle Fanning and Michelle Pfeiffer in Apple TV's comedy drama Margot's Got Money Problems. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Action man Jason Statham takes to the high seas in Sky original thriller Maritime, arriving in cinemas and on Sky Cinema this summer. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, the upcoming Netflix animation Ray Gun, described as the Maltese Falcon meets Buck Rogers, obviously, will feature the voices of Sam Rockwell, Scarlett Johansson and Tom Waits.
Lovely stuff. Well, I think we've got, I know I say this a lot, but it's true. We do have a good selection this week. I think I enjoyed, well, most of them. We're going to start on Netflix with the return of comedy drama Beef. And here's a clip.
Our members, do you know why they pay so much to come here? The golf, the courts, the exclusivity, the discretion. People need a place where they can feel safe. Where they can pretend everything is okay.
Season 2 for this one, 8 episodes. So, yeah, and obviously season 1 is available on Netflix should you want to watch it. It was a big hit, but because it's an anthology series, this is a totally different story. So, yeah, season 1, Beef. You've got beef with someone, you're having an argument with them, you've got a problem with them. And in season 1, it was a sort of road rage incident that escalated into this serious feud. And yeah, it was very successful, quite out there, quite odd. I only watched, I think, one episode of it, which is, that's the job we do, isn't it, Hannah? So yes, this second season, it kind of revolves around a posh American country club, and they've got some big hitters in the cast. They've got Oscar Isaac, who of course played Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein and has done loads of other great stuff, and the wonderful Carey Mulligan. Oh, wow. So, yeah, they play a married couple, Joshua and Lindsay. So Joshua is the manager of the country club, but they're quite unhappily married, I would say. By comparison, two of the sort of dog's bodies at the club are Ashley and Austin. So Ashley's played by Kaylee Spaney, who was in Alien Romulus, and Austin is played by Charles Melton from Riverdale. So they're both all loved up, but they're short of cash, and they just got to feel like they've got a lack of opportunities. Anyway, to cut a long story short, so originally I thought, the beef is going to be between them, the first couple, because they keep arguing about their, various aspects of their marriage that they're unhappy with. But what happens is, so the young couple turn up at their house because they're returning the boss's wallet, which he left at work. And they hear this screaming row going on between the boss and his wife, and they start filming it, and it looks quite violent. And so that sets in motion, a chain of events, because obviously now they've got some leverage at work, and so there's going to be some sort of, blackmail, gaslighting, all the good stuff. So yeah, it's created by Lee Sung-jin, Korean-born writer. It's very well done. I think. The behaviour in it is quite depressing, you've got to say. But yeah, I think it's a good. I mean, Beef was a kind of almost a surprise breakout hit, season 1. So I think I might go back and watch the rest of that, because this second one starts off really strongly. I think it looks good. What did you think, Hannah? Do you like this?
It's pretty grim, isn't it? But do you know what? It kind of brings to people's attention the idea that no matter what you do, it's always being recorded by someone. I often think that, actually. We had an email from a local college about an incident that happened, and they'd said that, straight away the phones are out, and can you please not share that? And it's seconds, isn't it? You see these dreadful things happening and the phones are out, and that kind of really shines a light, really, how quickly that can happen, as something so sort of personal, intimate can suddenly be shared amongst many more people. Like you, I'd not watched much of the first series, and I think I will. I think it's probably slightly nicer. There's not so many arguments in quite the same way. There are some pretty dark times in this one, but I think it's done really, really quite well, to be honest with you. I think it feels very credible. It's really authentic.
Well, you're getting not one but 2 comedy dramas for your money this week, because over on Apple TV we have a new series called Margot's Got Money Troubles. And here's a clip.
I need to make money. I'm open to any job there is. Digging ditches, even. Looks like you've already dug one. In order to earn income for my child, I've been doing some work on the internet.
For your first taco pics, we'll make you a scary girl.
I'll marinate on it.
So this is a book that's being adapted by Apple TV, I believe, a Ruthie Thorpe book, and I must admit I have not read that, but I'm absolutely hooked. I've not seen all of this. I've watched the first 2 episodes of this, and I really am hooked straight away. So you've got Elle Fanning playing this 20-year-old called Margo, and she's sort of effortlessly beautiful. Michelle Pfeiffer is her mother, who plays her mother, Cheyenne, and that works really well together. It's really believable straight away. They're 2 sort of beautiful women. They kind of look really very similar, etc., etc. And she is an aspiring writer, and she's hands in some work, and the teacher holds her back, male teacher, and says the work's really good. Why on earth is she in this class? She should be aiming for Harvard. She's absolutely brilliant. Gives her an A+. And you see her going and talking to her mate at home, and the mate says, well, he just wants to get in bed with you. Simple as that. And I was so innocent and naive. I totally believed that he just thought she was totally brilliant. And then, of course, in the next scene, there they are in bed together. There's quite a lot of nudity. I'm going to tell you that straight away. Quite a lot of nudity. There's a lot of breast showing throughout at this. It's pretty graphic at times. He's married. It obviously shouldn't be happening. It's unprofessional. It's not okay. She tells her mother, and her mother has been they're very different. She's very studious and wants to do more with herself. The mother is somebody who's brought her. She's a single mother. She's brought her up on her own, and really wants her daughter to do better for herself. So she comes home, and guess what? She finds herself pregnant, and she decides to have the baby. And you just see this real hardship. You see her trying to bring up this child, and all of her dreams, I suppose, have been dashed in a way. She thought she could do so much more. And you see that her kind of navigating single motherhood, living with a load of mates as well, and what that looks like. And she makes one comment, and I think I made this comment actually on the way home when I was bringing my first daughter home, which is, wow, they've let us home with a new life. Okay, where do we start? There's no manual. Yeah, how do we do this? And I think this is so credible throughout. on that basis. Just keeps asking all the questions, and there's no real help there at all. And you see her watching tutorials on her laptop and trying to work out how to do this, and the baby never stops crying. We've all been there. It's really tough. Her mother doesn't really want anything to do with it. The guy, the father of the child, he's backed off completely, not interested at all. So you see her, and she needs money, and she opens an OnlyFans account and tries to make her career through OnlyFans. Now, you'll know, Ian, as well as I do, that actually this can be incredibly lucrative. I mean, we write stories about this all the time, about how people make hundreds of thousands of pounds a month, even from OnlyFans. It's quite the business. So this feels really of the moment. This feels like it's really kind of caught something while it's happening, because it still is happening. It's a really big thing, and the first two episodes I've seen, I've really enjoyed it. I want to watch the rest. I really rate it. What did you think?
It's good. It's from David E. Kelly, who's made so much great TV, and yeah, what a cast! I mean, actually, this is there are two people from The Great, the series about Catherine the Great, in this week's pod, and the first of them is Elle Fanning, who's brilliant as Margot. But yeah, you've got Michelle Pfeiffer, who is hilarious as her mum, who also got pregnant very young, was working as a waitress in Hooters, and got pregnant by a wrestler played by Nick Offerman from Parks and Recreation. You've also got Nicole Kidman in it, who's doing a lot of TV recently, isn't she? As a wrestler turned lawyer who sort of comes to Margot's aid. So yeah, I only watched episode 1, and that's we talked about Vladimir recently, didn't we? Which was kind of about a college professor. Well, the backdrop was a college professor had affairs with various young female students. So it starts off with the her falling pregnant, and then the college professor wanted her to have an abortion. So that's the jumping off point. But yeah, as you say, then it goes into this whole OnlyFans storyline, and I think she creates a character who's like a sexy alien. That's how she's making her money. But then it's about, does that make her an unfit mother? So it's as you say, it's pretty topical. I mean, I'm pleased for Pfeiffer because she's got great comedy chops, and this is much more fun for her to do than we saw her recently in the Madison, didn't we? Which we didn't think was that great. But yeah, good to see her getting the laughs in this. Good to see Nick Offerman, and good to see Nicole Kidman. So yeah, this I think is something pretty different. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. Over on BBC iPlayer, we have a new documentary, Arena McCartney, The Hunt for the Lost Bass. And here's a clip.
We'd been looking for my old bass for years. My first bass, the one on all the early Beatles records, yeah, I had an attachment to it,
It's the most important bass of any bass ever, anywhere.
And that was like the holy grail for me. It's like finding the Bible.
Well, quite recently we talked about a rockumentary about Paul McCartney's post-Beatles career, especially with Wings, didn't we? This one-off is, as the title suggests, it's about the hunt for the iconic violin-shaped bass, which is made by Höfner. It's very recognisable, and he played it with the Beatles. But then for more than 50 years, no one knew where it was. It disappeared. So it's quite an interesting mystery, and it's kind of described as like the holy grail of rock and roll, finding this famous bass guitar. Because he bought a replacement one, but the original, it's a bit strange in a way, because you think, Macca says he doesn't really know what happened to it. But then we find out initially what made it disappear, and then he says, oh yeah, I'd forgotten that. But yeah, basically it was stolen. But then, yeah, where did it go after that? So these two people sort of take it upon themselves. One of them used to work for Höfner, and then there's also a journalist and his wife, also a journalist, who start to try and track it down. And Höfner put out a public appeal, which they call Trace the Base. So, and there were various rumours. Someone had said it was in a Las Vegas pawn shop. Someone said a Japanese businessman had bought it. Someone said it was in a canal in London. So, and we do find out what became of it, and we do see it again. So yeah, this is just right up my street, really. Paul McCartney is in it and is charming as ever. So yeah, it's a lovely little, can I say, magical musical mystery tour. Yes, that's right. Hannah, what did you think of this?
Yeah, we like things like this, don't we, Ian? It's just, it doesn't matter whether you're into this music or not, or anything about it. It just feels really, you come away learning something. So as you say, they find the instrument. It takes you on a bit of a journey to get there. Paul is in it, which is brilliant, which I think really, well, that's the best part, isn't it, really? He's totally bought into this and agrees it should happen. Again, I think that authenticity at the moment, where nothing feels very authentic, is really, really key. It's a good watch.
Well, we're going to finish over on 5 streaming with a new thriller series called Missed Call. And here's a clip.
Katie phoned me in the night and I missed it.
Her bed hasn't been slept in.
Sweetheart, I'm in Saint Michel. Please call me. My daughter's on a French exchange trip. Something has happened to her.
Maybe it's this town.
What do you mean?
It's got dark secrets.
Show Sarah what you showed me.
I don't trust any of you. I'm going to find her. This is my daughter. She's gone missing. Have you seen her?
Oh, yeah. Pretty girl.
I mean, this literally is every parent's worst nightmare. I mean, I feel sick even being really talking about it, let alone when I was watching it. So it's a thriller, and it's a 5-part story, which sees Joanna Scanlon. She plays the part of Sarah Gleason. She's a single mum to a 17-year-old daughter, Katie, and she's going on a student exchange trip. I mean, that still happens, doesn't it? It happens a lot. Although I was thinking back to the times when I went on student exchanges, and I'm pretty sure that the checks weren't the same as what they are these days. Thankfully that has changed. But of course, you can have a check and be okay, but you're not committed your first crime. Who knows so there's a lot of trust when you hand your child over to another family for an exchange, and that's what happens here. So Katie goes on a student exchange trip with her school to the south of France, and you see this sort of, it's creepy immediately, because it's always bad, isn't it, when you're asleep? You're the only one awake if you're awake, and it's just that nighttime vibe. And the phone goes off, and it's Katie calling her mum, but she doesn't wake up in time. She misses the call. It's a beautiful village where Katie's gone. She's gone missing. And this is us seeing a mother try to be strong whilst falling apart, travelling on what must seem like the longest journey in the world to a village to try and get answers. It soon turns out that this very idyllic coastal village of Saint Michel is not quite what she thought it was. There's quite a lot of hostility from the hosting family, Katie's hosting family, the Morvans. There's some sort of sinister eye behaviour, when you look at their eyes and you think, what have you done? What do you know? And people, there's talks that bad things happen in that village anyway. It's really, really creepy. And not only that, she's lost her daughter. And I just felt my heart racing, actually, just thinking you've got to find her. And people saying, yeah, they've seen her. Where is she? It's gripping. What did you think, Ian?
I'm going to beg to differ.
There you go.
Well, I want to start by saying I absolutely love Joanna Scanlon. Let's get that out of the way. And yes, it's Emily Coates from The Great, who plays her daughter, Katie. And you got Rupert Graves from A Room with a View and other things, weirdly cast as a coach driver, whereas he's the acceptable face of poshness, isn't he? Anyway, nice location. Saint Michel is where they go. I went on a French exchange when I was at school. It was not a happy experience. I got horrific sunburn and my entire face crusted over. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with my problems. So yeah, I just think it's pretty corny and clunky. As you say, like people doing these suspicious kind of looks come across their faces, and you're supposed to think, oh, are they involved in this girl's disappearance? For instance, you know, the mother of the host family, who are quite wealthy, there's a missed call that Sarah Gleason, the mum, gets from her daughter while she's asleep. So she's like, what's happened? And when it turns out the daughter hasn't come home that night and slept in the bed in the house, like the mother of the host family is just not remotely interested. Again, you're supposed to find that suspicious. Then you've got Robert Lindsay as a sort of totally stereotypical expat in the kind of white linen suit with the Panama. You know, it's all quite corny. And I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Joanna Scanlon because she is top quality. I mean, she can write, she can direct, she's a brilliant actor, and I just think she's quite ill-served by this, although she does her level best. So yes, goodness knows how it will all work out, what happened to this young girl, but I don't really care. So I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that thought. No, you know, it's fiction, isn't it? But I didn't feel it was convincing. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I've said enough. Now we've got to that time, young Hannah Maladio, where you find out what the hell you've been binge watching.
Well, let me tell you, there was only one thing on in our house, and that was The Masters.
Yes.
Which kind of tied in quite nicely, didn't it? Because we talked about Rory McIlroy last week on last week's pod, in fact. And there he was. He was winning it. He was losing it. He won it. Woohoo!
Well, I rewatched Barbie, which I originally saw at the cinema. And it's now dropped on Netflix, and I'd just forgotten how absolutely hilarious it is, and just how brilliant at skewering the patriarchy and kind of blokey behaviour. And also, as we were discussing before we started recording, Hannah, 3 of the stars from Sex Education are in it, aren't they? Super.
They are. So it has to be brilliant.
Yeah, and I also watched the Olivier Awards, which are the awards for theatre productions, which come back to the BBC, brilliantly presented by Nick Mohammed. I've only ever seen one play twice. It's called Kenrex, and the guy who was in it, his name is Jack Holden, won Best Actor. Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, folks, well, I think it's transferring to America now, but if you get the chance to see it in the future, check it out because it is superb. Right, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offerings. So what's on the agenda, Brenda?
Well, Baby Reindeer creator Richard Gadd stars in Half Man, about 2 men whose mothers fall in love, on BBC iPlayer.
And Charlize Theron suffers high anxiety on an Australian rock climbing expedition in Netflix thriller Apex, co-starring Taron Egerton. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
Watching!